Hi students, we are in important topics of leadership style and its advancement. You have seen the four preceding styles as I discussed thoroughly: authentic leadership style, and much important what I will discuss today, HR leadership. Students, in organizational behavior, which is much important to know exactly what kind of HR champions we need. Those who can lead HR dynamics. Role of HR leadership is much significant nowadays. What way one HR personnel can modify, coordinate new style of human resource management. The HR leadership is nothing. It is one kind of leadership which defines adoption, identification, innovation and creation of new style of HR practices, which can improve employees' engagement, employees' motivation, ultimately organizational effectiveness. Students, this is one of the most practical and most dominant practicing HR dynamics that can usually people to adopt if HR leader is perfect. When HR leader create something innovative HR practices, then what would be the qualities of HR leadership? In different part of HR, starting from very beginning part, like as manpower planning, what kind of leadership, what kind of authenticity, what kind of purity required, one HR leader can define in nice way. But as far as job design is concerned, which is one of the most dynamic functions of HR, which define the role of people at different position. Unless we define it nice way, our performance may not be perfect. So, we need to identify exactly what qualities are required to be a good HR leader. In this continuation, last lecture of leadership style, and we will have excellent discussion. Different agendas are there, which will very clearly that would be discussed for your career point of view. See, Introduction to HR leadership, common HR leadership job title and their roles, exercising HR leadership, key qualities of an effective HR leader, HR leadership in risk management, key imperatives for strengthening HR leadership, example of HR leaders, how HR leaders grow and develop. Introduction of HR leadership. See, in this case, I am just quoting one of the famous personality in the field of HR, who introduced the concept of HR business partner model, and he advocated for HR as a strategic partner in business. HR leaders are exceptional individuals who possess the ability to identify other exceptional individuals, and with the collaboration of their HR leader can strategically position themselves others in optimal roles of appropriate moments. Wills 2013. HR leaders possess distinct qualities. They associate with commendable individuals, are acknowledged by others for their unique attributes, exhibit a fervent commitment to foundational development and the sources of others, hold audacious and unconventional beliefs that inspire fellowship and demonstrate integrity alongside remarkable resilience in challenging circumstances. Why HR leadership is important? Aligns HR strategy with business goals, shape organizational culture and ethics, future proof the workforce. Now see, Dave Baldrige HR partnership model is much important. Why? The issue is here, HR as business partner, because every task of every strategic aspect of organization, either it is operating level, business level or organizational level, corporate level, it has to be performed through HR. So that HR has to identify some exceptional people, those who can collaborate to adopt, to practice some of new styles of HR practices. Why it is important? Answer is very simple. You need to align your HR goals with organizational goals, which much important. Perfect alignment means good or efficient HR practices, good HR leader. Integration of organizational goals, HR goals and its proper relationship that creates more important outcome of HR. Now students, try to understand, there are so many HR leadership job title and their roles in different parts of the world. Chief Collaboration Officer, CCO, Chief Common Resource Officer, Vice President of Common Resources, BPHR, Director of Employee Engagement. There are different roles has to play as far as HR leader is concerned. A key executive role responsible for staffing, business development, project execution and client management, ensures seamless collaboration across departments to achieve organizational goals. Chief Human Resource Officer leads the HR function including talent acquisition, performance management, and HR policy development. Role may be different, that because of different organization, they are using the different nomenclature. Vice President of Human Resources manage the HR development and reports to the President of HR, oversees the implementation of HR policies, employee relations and compliance, Director of Employee Engagement. It is also the another role of HR leadership, drives HR initiatives to maintain an efficient workforce, responsible for policy formulation, compliance and performance evaluation. Now, this is the titles, job title as far HR leadership is concerned. Ultimately, you can see it is all about what way effectively we can engage the people, what way you can create or modify employee engagement mechanism. It is nothing. HR leadership, it is well connected with talent management, well equipped with skills, techniques and strategies, and one must be very particular that particular point when he or she acting as HR leader. Students, some more roles you can see apart from CHRO, Director of Human Resources act as a liaison between management and employees, manage onboarding, background check, employee grievance and exit process. Senior Vice President of People Operation leads HR operation including recruitment, leadership, coaching and conflict resolution, oversees HR programs and ensures effective workplace policies. Senior Vice President of Strategy and Culture provides strategic leadership in HR and focus on staffing, workforce planning, organizational culture. May be involved in global workforce development and HR budgeting. New Senior HR President of Global Talent hires, leads international HR teams in talent acquisition and retention strategies, responsible for evaluating and interviewing candidates for and creating global workforce plans. So many nomenclature as I discussed in last slides also, but important thing is that HR policies, crafting good HR policies, HR strategy, creating good impression, effective implementation of employee value propositioning and creation of highly employer branding and its creation. It is only possible because talent management is one of the most typical tasks nowadays, because of one, when we acquire somebody, they may have specific type of skill adoption and its adoption techniques, but as and when the employees grows, if culture is conducive and their skill will multiply, and this skill continuously and its improvement is required. It is only possible if you have the proper direction, proper justice mechanism. So, in OB, organization behavior, we are not only see the individual dynamics or group dynamics, but organizational setting is equally important. This is basically HR leadership is concerned. exercising HR leadership, different areas we can apply the HR leadership and their tasks, strategic workforce planning, develop scenarios based on a clear understanding of workforce supply influenced by attrition, retirement and demand driven by business strategy and productivity, focus on redeploying employees instead of restoring to layoffs, prepare for potential future skill shortage in the workplace, performance management, revise performance and reward system to align with long-term business objectives and organizational values, employee engagement, foster open, honest, empathic communication with employees, spark enthusiasm for available opportunities when traditional incentives like salary increase, promotions are limited. This is some of place of exercise where HR leadership is required. As I told, that is not only the manpower planning, nowadays very important strategic manpower planning, because we need to employee budget, HR budget is very dynamic and very particular limit. So, unless strategically you can define the manpower requirement and its demand and supply, it may not be the good HR leader. One of the important point I discuss here, employee engagement. See, engagement is purely based on maintenance function of HR. Engagement is overlapped activities or OB and HR, both the field we are discussing employee engagement. If your maintenance function is proper, then definitely people will be engaged more scientifically. Leadership development, HR leader can create the good leadership, good cadres of leader, provide leaders with the specialized skill needed to manage during challenging times such as during cutbacks rather than growth focused periods. Innovation in management, apply high performance principles, focus on training, new insight into actionable results. Strategic impact, strengthen HR roles in influencing and positioning strategies, foster strong active relationship and involvement with senior leadership. HR contribution to strategy, HR should be an integral part of senior leadership team supporting the CEO and contributing to strategic decision making and implementation. This is some of area basically students you will be knowing, and is much important because HR leadership has strategic impact, because this is the leadership basically who can position the strategy, that is so called positioning strategy. One of the important aspect here, strategy formulation in organization is much important. All of HR people are not involved that particular cases, but HR leader, which is equivalent to vice president HR, he may be well connected with organizational top executives. With the collaboration, they can craft the good strategy. Now, key qualities of HR leader, future oriented is one of the much important quality, proactively plans for workplace involvements and stay ahead of industry trends, advocates for diversity, inclusion and technological advancement to enhance efficiency. Future oriented, innovative, develops unique strategies for talent acquisition, training and workforce management, implements creative approach that help the company stand out a competitive job market, accountable, takes responsibility for HR decisions and initiatives even when results do not meet expectation, focus on continuous improvement instead of shifting blame. So, this is some of things basically which we can say qualities of HR leader: future oriented, innovative, accountable. More quality, strategic. He must have the capacity of alignment of strategic, concern, ethical, maintains confidentiality regarding employee information and adheres to legal standards, balance company interest with fair and transparent HR policies, empathetic, actively listen to employees and understand workplace issues from their perspective, fosters a supportive and inclusive work environment that prioritize employees' well-being. Now, see what is very important here, what is the qualities basically. There is no any specific soft skill which is defined as the most important quality or traits or attributes, not like that. Once you understand exactly your HR domain, starting from acquisition to controlling of human resources, then one HR people clearly define exactly practicing HR. Now, once you know that particular part, what are the connectivity of the different HR functions, then definitely you will be the good HR leader. What way different activities of HR functions integrate with each other. Now, students, HR leadership in risk management is very important. Identifying workforce risks, potential risks include employee turnover, skill shortage, successional gaps, hiring related risks such as negligent recruitment and retention, behavioral risks including disengagement, non-compliance, resistance to change. It is workforce risks, attrition itself a risk, disengagement is also a risk. See, entire business function at one side, but HR function is another side. You just imagine one particular company's different types of business activities, different types of transactions, but it is to be adopted through HR. So, these cases we must be knowing exactly what kind of risks may be. Could you imagine what is the cost of the attrition risks, what is the cost of the disengagement? Because few people, disengaged people normally create toxic environment. Remember, engaged people, they are not creating any kind of unhygienic organization. So, strategic risk mitigation, implementing an enterprise wide risk management framework aligned with HR policies, addressing cultural risks by fostering a positive workplace environment, developing workforce strategies to minimize disruption caused by resignation, layoffs or latent shortage, preventing and managing HR related risks, strengthening hiring process to reduce recruitment errors, enhancing employee engagement initiatives to improve retention, providing continuous training and skill development to ensure workforce preparedness. Now, see, I think risks is something like that. People are not performing their role as per the description. They have every kind of things, but thing is that they are not aligned, they are not complying the organizational dynamics, organizational practices, and that leads some kind of negative bifurcation which is more dangerous. Now, some more risks communication and risk management, ensuring clear, timely and transparent communication about risks to employees and stakeholders, assigning specific risk management responsibilities to HR teams, department leaders, encouraging open discussion to address employee concern and gather feedback on potential risks, implementing structured reporting systems to track and address workforce risks efficiently, managing unexpected workforce challenge, encouraging employees to actively contribute to risk resolution, providing guidance and resources to help employees handle workplace challenges, ensuring that corrective actions are implemented effectively through coordinated communication, leveraging human capital for risk management. Employees play a dual role in both creating and mitigating risks. HR leaders must cultivate accountability and adaptability within teams, promoting collaboration and proactive problem solving to enhance organizational resilience. These are all some of risks basically. I think burnout may be the risks, job stress may be the risks, attrition the risks. What is it exactly? Why it is risks? Because that is happen all of a sudden if one not understanding its origin in right way. Ultimately, that disturb the entire organizational performance and also employees' performance. Students' key imperatives for strengthening HR leadership, some of studies basically Krupp et al. 2024 suggested essential HR leadership imperatives which are as follows: anticipate the future while managing the present, balance immediate workforce needs with long term strategic talent planning, act with purpose and change, uphold organizational values, make tough decisions and drive cultural integrity, harness the power of others, foster human centric workforce through effective leadership and communication, orchestrate ecosystem, build flexible talent networks including gig workers and external partners to enhance adaptability, growth oriented learning approach, embrace continuous learning, innovation, rethinking and traditional HR model. This is some of key imperatives required basically HR leadership, not for present, for future basically. Some of points you have seen: ecosystem, talent network is much important, succession planning is much important because risks can mitigate once we have the proper maintain the proper talent network and also the succession planning right way. Now, example of HR leaders, some of good example: former vice president of people operation at Google, that is Laszlo Book, data driven HR decisions. I think these are all the practically they have applied some of Shushan Boziski, former CEO YouTube, employee empowerment, taken some of good initiatives empowering their employees. John C. Taylor Jr., President and CEO SHRM, future oriented HR policies. Now, how HR leaders grow and develop? Now, see, this is some of suggestions given by Holbeck 2010. What way you can grow and what way you can develop the people? Taking on new roles, staying updated, networking and speaking, helping others, leading and sharing knowledge. Many HR leaders take up extra responsibilities, like so many things are there basically, different people, different organizations, they are taking new roles voluntarily, staying updated. Leaders like Martin Farber stay informed by reading business publications like Economist and Financial Times. Younger professionals often prefer online resources like Google for quick updates. Networking, speaking, many HR professionals attend conference. These are all the some of techniques, join industry. Helping others, strong network help HR leaders support colleagues. I think you can find good number of example leading and sharing knowledge. Some HR leaders teach, write and mentor. This is the sum of example. Now see what way grow and develop, much important. Now I am suggesting HR leader has to see some kind of data driven HR, some of research output which may be published, which is published different journals, articles. Only by their practical experience you can't operate your organizations. You want to grow, develop. See some of scientific research, what way employee may be engaged in right way. Your practice is somewhat different and you are the good judges, you know what way people to be engaged, but thing is that some of academician they are also contributing important techniques, methods, identifying some of which you must be knowing, need the proper alignment. Some of Christian students which HR leadership role is responsible for talent acquisition and workforce productivity. What is the core purpose of HR leadership? What are two qualities of an effective HR leader? How do HR leaders contribute to risk management? It's much important, students. You can go through the questions because once you see the videos completely, you will have the answer. Risk management is not only financial risks, but HR risks leads to financial risks. Remember, if employees are highly volatile and they are believe in mobility, that is so called attrition for their aspiration, ultimately you need to hire the new people, T&D cost, employees cost, development cost, that will increase. Ultimately somehow it is connected with some financial risks of organization. Reference, good number of books are there, you can see good number of books and journals that will be helpful basically to understand exactly what way HR leadership functioning in certain organizations. HR leadership role, some of integrated employee content team, they have also some kind of output, research output. You can see Wills EA 2013, what is HR leadership? I think see some of journals, articles and other things. Now you have seen that what way HR leadership perform, you have transformed the organizations, transform the HR functions very brilliantly, strategically, and what way they motivate the people to grow and develop, so that you can create multiple HR leader in your organizations, so that you will be perfect in crafting sound strategy. Thank you very much, students, for listening that part, HR leadership. It is under the modules of HR leadership styles. So thank you very much for knowledge or some important aspect which I defined very clearly, HR leadership and its creation, implication and its development. Thank you very much.